Celebrity relationships have always been a form of entertainment, a theater of love, betrayal, reconciliation, and spectacle that plays out in front of millions. But every now and then, a story emerges that feels less like a relationship and more like a saga, a living soap opera with unexpected characters, plot twists, emotional confessions, and explosive revelations. That's exactly what happened in the tangled, highly publicized situation involving Papoose, Claressa Shields, and Remy Ma. What began quietly as a whisper, a rumor between lovers, has turned into a full-fledged public narrative that social media refuses to let die. And just when everyone thought the dust had finally settled, the story took another unpredictable turn, thrusting everyone back into commentary mode, debate threads, reaction videos, and messy online discourse. Today, we're breaking down what happened, why it matters, and how a story that was supposed to be about love somehow became a case study in loyalty, heartbreak, and public perception. It's a timeline that spans past marriages, prison loyalty, career triumphs, infidelity accusations, and an ex-fiancé who may or may not have been watching from the shadows the entire time. It all started with what looked like a new beginning. Claressa Shields, widely regarded as the greatest female boxer in the world, sat down and opened up about her feelings toward Papoose. In an emotional, candid moment that fans quickly clipped, reposted, and reshared, she said, "I love really, really, really hard, and I'm happy to love somebody who wanna love somebody back. You know what I'm saying? He is just such a sweetheart. Ain't nobody tell him to tie my boot either, but he said it wasn't laced right, so he laced it right. It was so funny, but he definitely is sweetheart, and he deserved the best, and I am the best." The internet ate that up instantly. It wasn't just the words, it was the tone, it was the softness, it was the way she described a moment as simple as someone tying her boot and how it became symbolic of care, attention, and effort. For many fans, it felt like the beginning of something genuine. The comments across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter all echoed the same sentiment. Clarissa had found someone who appreciated her, supported her, and treated her with a level of tenderness that the public rarely sees in her usually intense and disciplined world. For Papoose, who had been known for his composure, loyalty, and committed public image during his marriage to Remy Ma, this new relationship became something people rooted for. It was mature, it was mutual. It looked like two adults choosing companionship after surviving heartbreak and public scrutiny separately. But as quickly as the public embraced it, they were forced to watch it fall apart. Claressa Shields officially ended her relationship with Papoose, and she did it decisively. There were no vague posts about needing space, or taking time for myself, or working on personal growth. There were no hints left for fans to interpret. She made it clear she was done. No hesitation, no softening language, no breadcrumbs for reconciliation. What should have been a private breakup turned into front-page entertainment almost overnight, because while Clarissa walked away in silence, the reactions around her made the entire situation impossible to ignore. Remy Ma, who had been now ex-wife of Papoose, lingered on the sidelines, tossing in commentary that was sharp, pointed, and often petty, as if she was watching the spectacle unfold with popcorn in one hand and satisfaction in the other. Her comments, whether intentional or simply petty timing, helped reignite the flames of gossip that had barely cooled from the previous year's scandals. Fans reacted instantly. The breakup immediately began circulating on blogs, fan pages, celebrity tea channels, and reaction streams. You could refresh your feed and find 5 new takes within the hour. And the reactions weren't subtle. People were analyzing timelines, rewatching old videos, debating who deserved what, and arguing about loyalty, motives, and karma. Clarissa didn't flinch, she didn't debate, she didn't defend. She simply ended the relationship and kept moving, leaving the world to fill in the blanks on its own. One major reason the public became so invested in this breakup is that the situation didn't exist in a vacuum. It came after the chaos of 2024, a year that social media still hasn't forgotten. That was the year Remy Ma shocked the internet by posting alleged text messages between Papoose and Clarissa while she and Papoose were still legally married. That moment shattered an image that had been built for years, the image of Papoose and Remy Ma as a symbol of Black love, hip-hop loyalty, and perseverance. For over a decade, the couple represented consistency, a rarity in entertainment. They appeared on reality TV, gave relationship advice, smiled together at red carpets, and projected stability in an industry known to swallow marriages whole. Fans looked at them and saw something worth aspiring to, something worth believing in. But as 2024 proved, public relationships are often highlight reels with the lowlights edited out. And when Remy posted those messages, she swung the door wide open for the internet to speculate, debate, judge, and investigate. Suddenly, Papoose wasn't the hero of loyalty anymore. He was a man accused of emotional betrayal, and possibly more, depending on which corner of the internet you were watching. To understand why the story hit so hard, you have to go back further, to the part of Remy and Papoose's marriage that made people believe in them in the first place. When Remy Ma was sentenced to 8 years in prison following a shooting incident involving a longtime friend, most assumed the relationship wouldn't survive the distance, the uncertainty, or the pressure. But Papoose proved everyone wrong. He didn't just stay, he showed up. He visited her regularly, he publicly defended her name, he raised her son as a father figure, he promoted her music from the outside and kept the world reminded that she was still a force. He even tried to marry her in prison, and when the ceremony was stopped due to a paperwork complication, he simply waited until they could do it properly. The gesture became legendary. It cemented him in public consciousness as a symbol of loyalty, the man who held his woman down while she served time. After Remy was released, they rebuilt their life together. They had a proper wedding. They began tackling music and business together. They showed that love could survive circumstances, time, and hardship. But as the years passed, what love couldn't survive, at least not theirs, was betrayal. The end of their marriage did not play out quietly behind closed doors. There were accusations of narcissism, leaked messages, screenshots posted to social platforms, and endless public commentary. Papoose tried for a measured exit, wanting closure and dignity, but Remy refused silence. She went loud, she went visual, she went detailed. Once she posted alleged screenshots and text exchanges, the story left the private realm and entered the social courtroom of public opinion, where everyone is a judge, everyone is a witness, and nobody needs evidence to have a strong opinion. And although the internet was split, one thing was clear: the marriage wasn't coming back from that. For a moment, fans almost felt grateful that Papoose was moving on. They rooted for his new happiness. They praised his attempt to love again, to rebuild again, and to move forward instead of backward. Claressa Shields appeared to be a healthy pairing, two ambitious people, two public figures, two strong personalities who respected each other's craft. She supported him, he supported her. He was seen hyping her before fights, standing in her corner, reciting his iconic verse from Busta Rhymes' Touch It to motivate her. The relationship became a source of interest, not scandal, for the first time in a long time. Then came the twist nobody predicted. Out of nowhere, or at least that's how it appeared to the public, Clarissa's former fiancé returned to the storyline. This was the same man from the viral social media post in 2024 where Clarissa tearfully explained their history and how life had forced them apart temporarily. What fans didn't know was that he had been watching everything unfold from a distance. According to circulating reports and whispers in entertainment circles, he had been collecting evidence, storing screenshots, recording voice notes, and sharing selective information with bloggers. Not to expose Clarissa, but to prove one thing, that Papoose was being phased out entirely. This revelation flipped public opinion on its head. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. What had once been framed as Papoose finding love again turned into speculation that he had been used as a placeholder, a temporary fix until the original man circled back. Clarissa didn't deny it. She didn't sugarcoat it. When she ended things, she ended them publicly. She said she wanted to focus on herself and potentially reconnect with the fiancé she never fully let go of. And just like that, Papoose was out of the picture once again, this time without scandal, but also without sympathy. However, because apparently Claressa Shields, yes, the Claressa Shields, is finally waking up from that fantasy she was selling about Papoose being her soulmate, her cheat code, her forever, her man who ties her boxing boots and lifts her spirits. Except now, she's online sounding less like love wins and more like Papoose played me and left me holding the emotional bag. And baby, the comments are already eating it up like it's Sunday brunch. But before we get to the newest meltdown moment, we need to rewind, because to understand how we got here, you have to remember how big and loud Clarissa was talking just a few months ago. The energy shift is actually insane. So let's start with the moment that really set people off. Clarissa got online talking directly at Papoose and said, "Papoose, you have my lawyer's information. If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer hasn't been retained yet, I told you I'll pay for it. If somebody over there that loves you wants to pay for it, great. That will make me happy." Already, that tone was wild. Then she doubled down by making it extremely clear that she wants absolutely nothing from him. She said, "Everything is signed and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school, her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her healthcare, I take care of it like I've always done." Whew, not even asking for child support? That already told us how done she is emotionally and strategically. But then she pivoted into this whole speech about how she thanks her hands, yes, her hands, for making her money. All these girls be like, "Thank you to my man," and I want to say, "Thank you to my hands," because from me knowing how to fight and training, I make millions of dollars just from beating people up. So in the span of 3 minutes, she thanked her hands, told Papoose to lawyer up, and made it clear she doesn't need a penny from him. If that's not someone trying to exit with dignity and a little ego armor, I don't know what is. Here's where things get interesting. It's starting to look like Clarissa is finally waking up to the fact that the fairy tale she was promoting, "My man is perfect, my man supports me, my man unlocks new levels of life," might have just been a fantasy she built for herself. Because behind the scenes, Papoose was apparently sliding right back toward unfinished business with Remy Ma. And baby, when reality slapped Clarissa across the face, it came with rings on. Now remember, for months, Clarissa was moving like she had won the championship belt in love. She hyped Papoose up publicly, loudly, proudly. She told the world being with him was the cheat code. She talked like she had solved relationships. She implied Remy had never experienced what she was now experiencing. Except, plot twist, Papoose and Remy were still legally married the entire time. And yes, that includes the time when Papoose was walking around as Clarissa's +1 publicly. That alone should have been a bright red flashing warning sign. But Clarissa kept pushing this "my man treats me like a queen" narrative. She even said, "Talk to my man like a king. Don't get it messed up. I may know how to fight, but I'm very submissive to my man because he's a good man and he takes care of me." But here's the problem. All of that submissive energy loses impact when the man in question can't even publicly claim you without complications. One of the first major cracks that the public caught on to was during the Breakfast Club interview. This interview was not supposed to be a couples showcase. Papoose was booked for his own project. Clarissa was simply in the building for support. But the second DJ Envy mentioned Remy Ma, Clarissa activated like someone pressed her button. She pulled her chair in, inserted herself into the narrative, and started talking like she had been present for Papoose's entire marriage. She was defending, explaining, clarifying, and it didn't feel natural. It felt territorial. And if y'all peeped Papoose's body language, he looked stiff, uncomfortable, like he wished he could sink into the floor or fast forward the segment.
When someone looks like they're being defended harder than they're claiming, it never reads right. Then came Christmas, and baby, that's when the internet said, oh, so this ain't what you said it was, because Papoose did not spend Christmas with Clarissa. Period. He dipped to be with Remy Ma and their daughter, and that move said more than any Instagram caption could ever say. Clarissa tried to distract with holiday decor and flexing, but people clocked instantly that her man was nowhere in sight.
Then she panicked and tried to spin the story, claiming Papoose didn't spend Christmas with Remy either and calling Remy his ex-wife. Except legally they are still married. That's not speculation, that's paperwork. Then the internet slowed down a clip of Remy shopping and swore they heard Papoose's voice in the background. If he really was the one paying for those bags, oh, Clarissa would have felt that in the chest. Once people started clowning Clarissa for getting curved for the holidays, she tried to flip it again by claiming Papoose spoiled her with luxury gifts, dropping bags on Louis Vuitton and loving on her behind the scenes. Except people recognized the pieces instantly because she had shown herself buying them earlier. That was a bad move. You can't flex gifts that the internet already saw you purchasing for yourself. It screamed desperation. It screamed pick-me energy. It screamed, I'm trying to convince the audience this love is real. And the internet never lets that go. Now fast forward to today and look at Clarissa's energy. It went from, I'm the prize and my man is amazing, to, I didn't need a man anyway and my hands make me millions, thanks. That's a wild jump. Now sources are saying she's telling people she got played, that if she knew Papoose was still locked in with Remy Ma, she would have never entertained him. And insiders are claiming this whole situation might be wrapping up much faster than anyone expected, because once public perception shifts, the relationship rarely survives behind closed doors. Here's the part people really started talking about, the obsession. Because Clarissa didn't just go after Papoose, she went after Remy Ma. Not directly, but energetically. She wanted Remy to see her, to feel replaced, to feel competed with. But Remy Ma never played the game. She stayed silent, unbothered, maybe even amused. And nothing drives someone crazier than trying to get under a person's skin who genuinely does not care. There was a clip going viral that summed it up perfectly. Some women become obsessed with the idea of being chosen over another woman. When that other woman walks away with ease, they don't know how to handle it. And that is exactly how Clarissa started looking, less like a girlfriend and more like someone trying to win a competition the other contestant wasn't even participating in. Meanwhile, Papoose stayed quiet, strategic, and emotionally low investment. He let Clarissa do the talking. He let Clarissa defend him. He let Clarissa take the public heat, and he moved how he wanted to move. A man who is truly locked in is never that silent. Silence is the biggest red flag in the world. Because when a man will let you embarrass yourself publicly without stepping in, without claiming, without clarifying, without matching energy,